I have made a critical error, and it is time for an immediate action. It's Friday, and it's been 1 week since I flushed the black tanks, and I came out here to dump the black tank. We've been trying to teach Kaylin how to do it, so I came down here and had her pull the knob for our front black tank. And then while we're walking around and it was flushing and I'm checking things, I get back here to the back one and realized that right there had been open all week. That's bad juju. I don't plan to make any kind of an RV black tank masterclass. If you want to have all the details, there's some great videos out there. I recommend Ross's video with RV tips and travel. Amazing video, everything you need to know about black tanks. I don't plan to go into detail on that other than just what it's like in the daily life. But leaving your black tank open like that for a week is bad, and here's why. You can build up what's called the poop pyramid. You need fluid to stay in the black tank to allow the solids to all kind of float around as well as dissolve. So by having that open all week, every fluid has left, leaving only the solids inside the black tank. Now it's only 1 week. This could be really bad, or this could be just kind of bad. But as soon as I discovered it, I immediately jumped into action. Even though we dumped the front tank first, this one's gonna get 100% effort. So first thing I've done, I've already filled it and flushed it once. But since it potentially has stayed in there and dried for a week, I am going to fill it and let it sit for a while, and then we'll come back. I probably do that multiple times. The goal is to just anything that's sat in there and just kind of dried, to get it wet, give it some time to dissolve and try to work its way out. One of the problems that I could run into is if we have things that are solid and they start floating around, then they could potentially kind of cause a clog that could make today a little bit worse. This may be a multiple day kind of thing for me to just keep on filling it up, letting it sit overnight and coming back and letting it dissolve again. I probably will wind up spending a little bit more money on the chemicals that I like to put in there to help things break down. We'll see how this goes. Now on my first flush, I did have some solids I could see that came out of there. Next thing I'm gonna do, fill it, let it sit. I'll probably let it sit for about an hour and then come back and flush it. This is a priority. If you let this go and you just ignore it, it could potentially damage your black tank for good and cause you several $1,000s in repairs to have the bottom of your RV taken down and have that big tank taken out. A 42-gallon tank it's a pretty big operation to get that exchanged. In purchasing them, getting them to come in, Open Range even has a special kind of tank that they make that's different from the other manufacturers. So whew, this could be much worse than we had hoped. Whenever you're filling your tanks for a flush, always set a timer, because the last thing you want to do is forget and then go off and like, oh, why is there water coming in up out of the toilet? That's no fun. Hey Daisy. Hey Daisy. Love you. This is our scene looking just out the back behind our RV. I would love to go running through these woods, but there apparently is a lot of poison ivy and other poisonous plants in Maine. I got a new Pokemon. Wait, did the timer just stop? No, it's still going. I'm just gonna shut off the water right here.
Daisy was eating a bunch of grass.
There we go. Now that the water is stopped, stop the timer. All right, so I stopped the water. I'm just gonna let it sit in there. And I think since I started with that one, I'll go ahead and move the hose over and do my normal flush up at the front. So it is Friday of Memorial Day weekend. I don't know what the school districts are like here in Maine, but I've seen where friends all across the United States, their kids are already out of school for the summer, which good job on those school boards, ending your school year right before Memorial Day. That's how it was when I was a kid. I don't understand these schools that come back and go for another week after Memorial Day. Get it done, y'all. Any rate, our first weekend here in Maine, when we would try to leave this 1,000 Trails, the traffic was nuts. Now it's Memorial Day weekend, and it has been cold since we've been here. A lot of the days, the highs are like 56. And even at 56, people are getting out because, well, they've been inside with snow and ice all winter. Especially all the Canadians. There are a lot of people walking around speaking French here, especially on the weekends. It's very interesting. Because we're up by Quebec, and Quebec is French Canadian. Now it's Memorial Day weekend, and we're excited, like, yeah, Dad's got a 3-day weekend off of work, let's go do some stuff. But I'm quite frankly scared of the crowds. It's supposed to get up to 79 as the high on Sunday. I bet you everybody and their mama and their papa and their grandma and their grandpa are gonna come out of the house and try to go to the beach. We gotta find something to do that's not such insanity. We do have something scheduled, hopefully, to meet up with some friends at a lighthouse. That may still be, I'll try to film that, but I bet you there'll be a lot of people there. We'll see how this all plays out. Anyway, back to today. So it's Friday, flushing tanks. Got work to do. We have already noticed that, like most of the week, we haven't seen a lot of kids, which is unusual for 1,000 Trails, but it's cooler up here. And then yesterday, Thursday night, all of a sudden there's a massive influx of kids. Girls were running around, and I told Kaylin, you know, it takes Kaylin Pokemon cards really to get her to come out of the RV. And I see this girl walking into the RV site with a binder with Kira. And I said, Kaylin, some girl just walked into our site and she has a binder. And Kaylin's like, what's in the binder? I don't know, it's a mystery. You should go solve it. Yep, sure enough, it turned into several hours of major Pokemon card trading. They had a blast, very happy. So for me, under normal operations of just a weekly flushing, pulling the black tank, running the water, all of that is fairly sanitary. I try to keep it that way on purpose. However, because I can't do a normal fill of the rear black tank, because I use this device, the water that you see right there is unsanitary. Because as it was flushing, some of that water comes right there. There's no backflow preventer right there. So as I unhook that hose and I get that water on my hands, it's definitely not a good situation. So I moved the hose over and got it connected, but I didn't pull or touch the black tank pull, and I didn't touch where I would turn the water on because I want to keep that part sanitary. So I went in, washed my hands up real good. Now I come back. Now I'll actually turn the water on and start to flush the front tank. Like I said, the back one, I'm gonna let that water sit in there for an hour. Just gonna do that multiple times today, and hopefully I can clear out any potential poop pyramids. I don't know if there are any. Without shoving some fancy camera down my toilet, I don't know that I could actually see and tell you for sure that I have one. I'm just going to assume that I have one based on the knowledge of how it works. All right, so the water flush for the front black tank is getting started. So I set my timer. Now I have separate timers for my front and my back, and the reason that is because of how I have to flush the back. Because the back one is clogged or plugged. So I can't fill them the same way. Otherwise I would use the same timer for both of them. So because I'm back filling it from below where you would connect the port, it needs more water to fill up all the pipes. So I let it go for just under a minute more than I do for the front one, because it requires more water to fill up that tank, because there's a number of different turns and different pipes before it actually gets to the black tank. Little details, things that you learn, you kind of test it out. I recommend when you're going to do black tank flushing, play with it. Don't just go off of the timer you saw on my video. you maybe start with 3 minutes. I've kind of based those numbers on the fact that I've got a 40-gallon tank. When we had a 30-gallon tank, I went for about 3 minutes with our first RV. And just kind of tweak those numbers and play with it. Maybe have somebody stand up top and check to make sure that it's not getting too full. So I was just telling Kira how it's Memorial Day weekend here, and I fully expect every spot to be full. And then I was taking my bike for a little ride around this playground bathhouse area, and I came over here and saw this. They're just lining up waiting to check in. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought they couldn't check in till noon. Sure enough, they're all standing around. They're lucky they allow them to come in and wait. If this was Thousand Trails Orlando, oh my goodness, it would be so much worse. So I've heard that check-in at Thousand Trails Orlando, you cannot even line up before 12 noon or you'll get in trouble. And the cops, because you have to wait out in the street, because there can be 100 to 200 people trying to get in at 12 noon to Thousand Trails. So the cops will actually go and they'll start writing tickets for everybody that's just sitting in the street blocking traffic. Sounds like a nightmare to me. Hey Skittle, are you enjoying the sun? You like sitting in the sunshine? Daisy, are you too warm? I would think you'd be cold. It's cold out here in the shade. Oh, I love you, Daisy. All right, so I completely did a flush on the front tank. That's all done. I just need to add my chemicals that I add the back. So I did the first, like a normal flush, and filled it up and dumped it immediately. And then I've done 2 times where I've just let the water sit in there for 1 hour. But I think to really get it real good, to make sure if there's anything stuck, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it right now, and I'm just gonna leave it overnight. Maybe I won't fill it to the full 5 minutes 40 seconds like I usually do. Maybe I'll do the 4 minutes 50 seconds like I usually do for the front tank, so it's not completely full. But that way, it's just everything's sitting in there. I'll add my chemicals, let things fizzle, sizzle, and dissolve. And then tomorrow we'll come back and do a normal flush. Just hoping, because you almost have to pretend in your head as to what you're doing here, since you cannot actually see what's going on in there without shoving the camera down there. And then I'm gonna do something kind of fun. Something that I've been dreaming of, that I purchased everything for. It's totally new. We got all kinds of trees out here in not hot, humid weather. So I'm gonna do something interesting. Stay tuned. Hi, Daisy. You're such a pretty girl. Yes, you are. Y'all, I'm gonna try to sleep in this tonight. Watch the lines right here so you don't trip. So it's got 4 tie downs. Well, 6 total because the tarp is tied to the tree on both sides. Then it has an underquilt, which I think the underquilt might be a little too small. I felt like the underquilt probably didn't quite fit it right. So the underquilt looks kind of like a sleeping bag, and it hangs below. But it doesn't, the underquilt doesn't necessarily have to be like a sleeping bag that hangs tight to your clothes. What it's doing is it's trapping my body heat from escaping through the bottom. So a typical problem is you lay in a hammock and the wind comes underneath of it, and it just kind of, your body puts heat out the bottom. The wind takes it away from you. So the underquilt traps that heat down there and stops the wind from stealing that heat from you. This is my first time setting this all up. Not yet. I went around this tree for one of my tie downs. Hopefully that helps. My weight's not going on that. That's just the tarp. So the tarp is there to keep the rain and the moisture, the dew, off of me.
Oh my goodness.
It has a screen built in to keep the bugs off of me too. I can zip up inside of it. Daisy's so excited. There's so many dogs around here. Kind of peek inside. So I've got the sleeping bag in here. I got my inflatable pillows. I have the waffle board at the bottom. I got a static V air mattress.
Yeah.
Should be comfortable.
All the stuff you need, right? Should be everything you need.
Hopefully. So Static V, the company, they make a special air mattress just for the hammock that actually has more stuff that goes up on the sides. but it's like $100 and something. And I'm like, let me just try with what I have first and see how it goes. Supposedly, I was scared of back problems, but other tall guys with back problems like me said once they sleep in this hammock, they don't want to sleep in anything else.
Really?
It's like it helps with their back problems.
Don't get any ideas.
And personally, if this works, start buying more of this for the rest of us.
Then we could do it with you.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's not in Maine.
Y'all, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's Friday. Look at Tanya, all bundled up like a Texan in Maine. I mean, there's nothing untrue about that statement. Yeah. You are a Texan in Maine.
I am.
It's
unusual.
It's in the 50s right now, right?
It's 56 or somewhere around there.
It's colder in the shade.
It's cold.
All right, the next plan is I'm gonna get out the tripod so that it can film while I attempt to climb in, because this could be catastrophic. Look, the pillows don't want to escape. Everything's trying to escape. Let me just go shoes on for a minute. There we go. This is definitely an interesting balancing game to get in here. I'm not really happy about the fact that I'm shoes are on. So far it's pretty comfortable. Alright, I'm gonna try to come out without making everything fall out. All the pillows want to come out. So if you do this right, you should be able to like sit in it like a chair. See that?
Yeah.
Like you don't just have to lay in it like a hammock.
Okay.
So I got one pillow here that's actually strapped to the end.
Nice.
Wish I had more like that. But now I need to know like what to do with my shoes.
Yeah.
There's other things you can buy that like hang up here or hang underneath. Or I was just looking at some pictures online where people put a tarp down on the ground and have a whole screened room they hang around it. And their dog was like laying underneath the hammock on the tarp. But this zipper for the screen was all the way over there. I'm like, how am I supposed to fix that?
You need to get closer. Nice.
Oh, I'm impressed. That's pretty comfortable. Just a little chaotic getting in and out. But I think that I will have a good night's sleep out here. I may want to bring one extra blanket. I'm just not really sure what to do with my shoes going in. Looking online, Reddit has a number of different hammock subreddits, like hammock camping. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can from them. I probably should go watch a bunch of YouTube videos. All right, hammock's all set up. Black tank situation is done for today. Ooh, look at that hair. The hair's kind of wild and crazy coming out of the hammock. Tanya wants to do some more fettuccine alfredo with grilled chicken on the Blackstone, so she's inside getting ready. I need more clothes. I have shorts and a t-shirt right now, and it's like 56. Maine, what are you doing? It's so cold. By the time I get back to warm, hot weather, I might appreciate it. If you know me, you know that's crazy. It's also, I'm still doing the whole intermittent fasting thing too, so with me eating less food, I tend to be colder. If I went and shoved a bunch of carbs in my face right now, I'd probably be all hot and sweaty. And it's serious, it's a thing with me. I start eating food and I just get hot. So all I've had to eat today, it's 4 o'clock, is nuts. Isn't that nuts? So yeah, we're gonna do some, not chicken breasts, I'm gonna do some chicken thighs on the Blackstone. Tanya's gonna make her fettuccine alfredo. We'll chill out. It's Friday night. I don't really want to go anywhere with it being Memorial Day weekend. The traffic right outside of this 1,000 Trails is not great. So I think we'll just stay in and hang out and maybe watch a movie before bedtime as a family. Or maybe get a fire going, although it might be too cold for Tanya. One lesson that I have learned on this trip is that our buddy heater, which we love so much, needs to go with us everywhere. That's right, Tanya is freezing. And even to bring her out here to sit by the campfire, she's still too cold. She would prefer to have like that buddy heater like right by her, really warming her up. So the whole family could be out there enjoying the campfire, and then she could truly be warm like she wants to be. Did y'all hear that? Kaylin just got out of the shower. Sounded like she just dropped something in her room. All right, well, thank you so much for watching our video today. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you that comes here to watch these videos. We thank you so much. Remember, life happens, even little accidents and mistakes like forgetting to close your black tank for a week. Mistakes happen. It's what you do after a mistake that defines you. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.